Hi, this is Milani Douglas, again with another episode of the Curative Collective. Curative Collective is a part of our project Reclamation, which is looking at remedies, recipes, and remedies. Today we're talking to Wanda Ramudi Ortiz. Pardon me, just give me the whole, I am so nervous. Let me just relax. Let me just relax. Wanda, it is so good to see you. And I want you to just tell the people about your work and first introduce yourself. We'll get into some of your work in a minute, but introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Hi, everyone. My name is Wanda Raimundi Ortiz, and I am an associate professor at the University of Central Florida. I teach studio art, um, and I am a maker of things and a creator of experiences. Essentially, I use my work as a place of kind of a form of catharsis for myself, and hopefully, other people will get some value out of what I do. So really, like I'm super interested in holding space. Earlier works was about kind of figuring out where I was as an artist, as a person, as a woman of color in the art world, and using art as an opportunity um, to hold space for my mom and my father. And then now that I am older, I'm using the work as a place, as a way to try to connect with the community, creating, trying to create some kind of healing spaces, but also opening up some conversations about the difficult things that we experience as people of color and as women. So that's what I do.
And I love what you do. And I'm so glad that we were able to meet. We met probably about 2 to 3 years ago at Art on the Vine.
Yes. Oh my
Yes.
God, 2019.
Oh, it's such a good time.
It was.
Yeah. And one of the I knew that there were quite a few artists that that were there that I was like, whenever I get a chance, I'm like, we're gonna have to work on something together. But I knew that when this project came up, and I saw that you also had a residency where you were working on a farm, and you were just, I saw this kind of like, I just the way you were dealing with that experience and the healing that you bring to your work, and just your big questions really made me want you to be a part of the project, and also the stories that you're telling. So there's one story in particular that's very much informed by your family. Do you want to give us a little bit about that and how that informs your work?
You mean the Pieta project
Yeah.
or Exodus? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that project, I think that was a big becoming a parent was a big game changer for me. I think when I think about the work that I was making prior, I feel like everything I did was kind of like a little bit navel gazing ish. I mean, that's just me looking at it now, and I think every artist looks at their past work and they're like, well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that was, I think, just the primer for how the work changed once my child was born, and um, being a woman of color, a fair skinned woman of color, giving birth to a brown child, really heightened my already existing awareness of injustice to people of color. But I've always been aware of my fair skin, light skin privilege, um, and understand that I have to use this spot that I'm in as an opportunity to have conversations for people that are still denied access, right? And so I'm a professor and all this other jazz. And so thinking about vulnerability, our bodies, our stories not being told, our inability to even grieve communally, right? What just this morning, I opened my phone, another person slain. The young man's name was Dwayne Wright,
Oh
right?
wow. Mm-hmm.
20-year-old shot dead, pulled over by the cops because he had an air freshener hanging off of his window. Within 10 minutes, killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the story of the mother, I was on the phone with my daughter-in-law, whatever, and she tells me that he was shot. And I'm telling them that, my son's still on the ground and they won't even pick him up. And you know what I mean? Like just the craziness. And so all of that to say, like we as a community watch this, we feel it. It's like one person closer. Could it be you? Could it be me? Could it be my child? Could it be my daughter, my son, my nephew, my brother, my husband?
Mm-hmm.
And then we are fed this narrative, well, get over it. It's not true. It's not why gotta be about race and and so we are not allowed to even grieve. So all that to say, my son's birth really kind of cemented my place in our community, and as the mother of a beautiful little child, a little brown child, like, oh shit, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. How do you arm your child? How do you prepare your child? How do you how do you have the discussion of trust and this and that, and that's that one thing. But then it's also looking at like parents, like that young man, Dwayne Wright. I hope I'm saying his. I think that's his name. The parents that are seeing these stories in the news, and you want to hold your children tighter, and then being told, well, that's not you, and then watching their children being vilified. Oh, well, he was smoking weed, or he was driving too fast, or he was doing this, or he was too high, or she got too, like in the case of Sandra Bland, she got too mouthy, she didn't respond properly, blah blah blah. Insert vilification here. And so how do we not internalize that as a community? How do we not absorb that? We're gonna absorb it. So that piece, I was hoping that for a little while, we could create a sense of like, look, for 3 minutes, let's just be in this. No one's going to tell you that you're wrong for crying. No one's going to tell you that you're wrong for feeling this. No one's going to tell you that whatever. Let's just be here. And so I wanted to create a space where we can hold space for each other, right, and be in our frailty without judgment.
Yeah. And there was this beautiful part of like creating space where people could bring the parts of them that they have to deny or repress, and gathering it and bringing it all together, kind of like almost like the remnants of your soul. And so with that project, that then to me looked at how you went and responded to the hurricane in Puerto Rico and gathered these other remnants. And then you made this entire piece in this processional. And for some reason, these two ways of working reminded me of like what we do and what we have done in the kitchen space and in the art studio, and how we take all of these, we make room for people to bring all that they are to make something totally new, but then also to create a healing space. And so could you give us a bit about that project as well? Because when I look at the work that you're doing now, I'm seeing it all explode into this other kind of like joyous moment, but to me it's all connected. So tell us about that project when you went to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think again, I'm really interested in highlighting the things that people are not noticing from our vantage point. And I feel that because I am who I am and situated both, academically, creatively, as a person of color, like I feel like I'm in this real interesting crossroads. I feel like I have a bit of a panoramic view as an American diaspora Puerto Rican, right? Living here, but living in Florida, and the new hub of where Puerto Ricans migrate to from the island and also from New York, which we're seeing that come from both sides. It's like, okay, well, I've always complained, criticized, jumped up and down, made faces about how Puerto Rico is international sometimes when it's convenient, and part of the good old US of A when it's convenient. And the hurricane really highlighted the wrongs of the colonial status, right? Like the fact that people from other nations wanted to bring aid and could not because of the Jones Act, for example. So you have all these ships docked and they could not just go. They're right there. Like the island is right there. No, you have to go to the United States, take everything off those ships, put them on American ships, and then send them back to the United States and to Puerto Rico. And so that it was so messed up on so many levels. And, you only heard part of the stories on the news until it just wasn't a story anymore. But, people in my family they went without electricity for 7 months. What? Waiting online 4 to 6, 8 hours for only $10 worth of gas a day, right? If you could do that, right? So I wanted to create an opportunity for people to see the struggle
Mhm.
The evidence of the lives that were interrupted because of not only the hurricane, but the messed up nature of how the United States operates on the island. I wanted to see, I wanted people to see it, right? So go to the island. I want to make this gown that's Afro Puerto Rican, right? That's rooted in our folklore, um, but made entirely out of debris. So we're scouring streets, and and it wasn't really that hard to find, honestly. It was pretty easy to still find debris almost 18 months after the hurricane. You can still find giant tarps blown alongside of the beach. We found entire facades of homes still toppled onto the ground on the facing the ocean, and people's lives left, dirty dishes in the sink, people's like sheet music from choir, like just it was really, really wild to experience. And then bringing all that and doing it with the kind of reverence that something like this needs. Because I did
Mm.
not want to go and feel like I was plundering or like, hurricane poverty porn. Like I didn't want to create a scenario like that. I wanted to show how lives were interrupted. I also wanted to demonstrate the resilience of the people that made it over here, the people that survived that couldn't leave because they didn't have the resources to pick up and leave and start over. And have that coming thundering down the street, like,
Yes.
with like musicians, panderos and people singing and shouting and playing instruments. And so people have said that in the videos and the imagery, that even the people that experienced it said that I sounded and looked like a hurricane coming down the street.
Yeah.
And then culminating
Powerful.
in this big dance event, so that it was hard to do. I walked a mile. It was a short distance, but it was pretty intense experience. To walk a mile in a dress made out of debris that weighed about 45 pounds in like 90-degree heat. It
Mm.
was no joke. It was no joke, but I wanted to make a point.
Yeah, and so it's beautiful to watch, like just how you create these spaces of care, and then also these spaces of like resonance, where there's sometimes where something may seem quiet or just and be able to kind of like someone can change the channel. You are bringing this thunder with it, and so for this project Reclamation, I was really just interested in just seeing snippets of how you care for yourself, because people who create environments of care is also like, well, how do you nourish yourself and how do you like find the time and just the pace of it. And you did a lovely interview with us, so if anyone wants to check out about her experience in Reclamation, did get a chance to talk about it, and that's a part of your submission that we have up there. But is there anything that now, kind of looking back at putting the submission in, that you want to comment on and say about the project and the experience?
So it was really interesting to think about documenting the process of caring for my family. And I don't think I'd ever really thought about it that much. And I remember scrambling, trying to figure out how to do that. And I'm like, oh man, and I wanted to prepare a meal specifically for that documentation. And I did it, and I did it in Pennsylvania, in, Quakertown, Milford Square, Pennsylvania. Trying to figure out how to make some Puerto Rican comfort food um, for my family, my husband's family, right? They're all Americans, German, Russian, English descent. But they're down. Good food is good food, no matter where it
Good
comes
food is
from,
good
right?
food.
I'm just saying.
Right.
Um, but what was funny, that subsequently, like looking for additional footage, I didn't realize how much I document my cooking process.
Yeah,
I really do. Like
you do.
and I'm still doing it. Like I took pictures of my vegetables today. I took pictures of my garden. I'm watching it grow. And it just feels like an extension of being a creative, where I document how I'm building my sculptures. I'm documenting where I find my materials for my gowns or the building. It's all really the same, I think I think that when people think about artists, they think about, oh, well, that person, you go and you be an artist only in the studio, but then you go home and you file your taxes or do whatever, and then you're kind of normal. But
Right.
creativity is going to follow you wherever you go. Like you can't not, you can't help it, right? From how I would get my son is a very picky eater. So I've had to find some pretty creative ways to get him to eat basic things, even like hot dogs and stuff. So I think some of the images that I submitted were like making a skull and crossbones out of tortillas and like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Making like, cat face pancakes just to get him to eat. What I didn't expect is that my son wouldn't want to eat them because they came out so cute. I don't want to eat
Ah,
the cute pancakes. They're
there's
so
that.
cute. So that was what was really interesting to me, that I didn't realize how I do actually treat feeding my family
Mhm.
like the way I treat everything in the studio. It's all process, right?
And that's exact all the women that are chosen for this project. One thing I will say that pours into about them is that their creativity pours into everything, and even in ways that I'm like, are you aware that you? I'm like, have you noticed? So it was a great opportunity for people to just see how much their essence of who they are as an artist is in everything, and everybody's response was so different, and so unique that it was quite inspiring. And speaking of inspiring, tell us about, we have a campaign, 5 Women Artists. So we're always looking at who are these different artists that are inspiring, and maybe who should we look at, but tell us who's inspiring you,
Oh my
and
goodness.
who are you
So
looking at. And I know the list is long, so
yeah, okay,
please.
I had to narrow it down to the top 5. So right now, I am absolutely obsessed with Lauren Fensterstock's work.
Mm.
I adore her work. She did she was a recipient of the Renwick Fellowship or something at in this one of the Smithsonian museums, I think.
Yep.
Um, and she did this incredible piece, this kind of comet that's sort of blasting through the space. It's a site-specific installation. It's completely covered in jewels. It is
Mm.
like 50 feet long. You got to see that. It's out of control. Abigail DeVille, that's my heart. That's my girl from the Bronx. I mean, she, just whatever. Rome Prize Fellow. I could go on and on about the accolades this woman has gotten. But always so true to her story, true to our story, and always thinking about the spaces that are missing in our narrative and focusing on the spaces between. I'm infinitely inspired by her. I recently got into Peter Coyne's work.
Mm.
Oh my God, I'm such a huge fan, especially now that I'm making these weird, bulgy, strange creature thingies and I see her work. I'm like, how do you do it? Oh my God. Um, and Forever and a Day, Wageshi Mutu,
Yeah.
Forever and a Day, like that's my heart. I adore her work as an artist, but I also adore her as a person. We've known each other for a very long time, and she's just been so kind and generous. Even with her crazy busy schedule, she'll reach out to me. We'll check in on each other's children. And I hope that there's going to be a time where I can get to visit her and that we can just kind of be artists and creatives and friends, right? Like it's
Yeah.
that sisterhood. And there's a sisterhood, even though there's two artists that I don't know. Like I don't know Peta yet,
Mhm. Yet.
but I'm hoping to manifest, right? And Lauren, I met her because she's partners with an old art colleague of mine from when I went to Skowhegan a million years ago. So I get to like ask her questions. Like she's the one that's coaching me through making these weird objects. I'm like, girl, I don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, this,
Mm.
try this, try this, try this. And then this young artist that I just came upon recently, Gio Swabi, I believe her name is. I saw her on Instagram, and she just got picked up by this incredible gallery, and her work is just so gorgeous. She does like drawings of women, right? Just women of color, these line drawings that look like pencil, but they're embroidered.
Oh.
Ugh, ugh, this
Yeah, I have to check her
woo,
out.
her lined up right there with Bisa Butler. Forget it.
Ooh. Oh,
Forget it.
Lisa.
Just crazy. Yeah, I got a list of 10 miles long, but that's my
I
short
am.
list.
I mean, I am so in love with the work that women are creating right now, and just what's coming out, and also just who's moving in a different way. I'm seeing all these shifts. Like people are used to work with one medium and now opening up, including you. So now you've like totally just exploded into this
So,
whole other experience with your creativity. So I'm going to see if we can show some of the work, and then tell us about it. Tell us what's happening in your studio.
Oh my gosh, it's a crazy craziness. I want to add Elia Alba on that list. I want to
Oh, of
add like there's like
course.
so many people. Jesus,
Yes.
if I was on an award ceremony, I had friends that would probably be like, "You don't say my name." No, Elia Alba, just whatever. Like add her on the short list.
I
There's like,
love her work.
oh,
Yeah, I
Fairly
love what she's
Biased,
doing.
like,
Hmm.
oh yeah. Um, so what's going on in my studio? Um,
Well.
well, I love Lucy. Um, so my practice is hair is a big see look even back then, even back in 2004 as an old painting, hair has always
Yeah.
been a big part of my work. I don't think that I knew how to talk about it at the time. um but I think hair trauma, right? The idea of managing blackness, right?
Mhm.
Especially as a woman, as a light-skinned woman of color, you can
Mhm.
pass and you choosing not to. What? You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. My mother will be like, "You're so cute to have your hair looking like that." And I used to wear it. Psh. And so the rebellious person that I've
Yes.
always been is like, the more you complain, the bigger it's gonna get, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I was rocking it natural way before, it was cool. And the Dominican ladies in the salon will always ask me if I want to blow it out. I'm like, oh no, just cut it. No,
Right.
no, no, we're not doing that.
Just trim.
So,
Just trim.
yeah, yeah, just trim. Just I didn't don't think for me. Just cut it. That's it.
Mhm.
And so it was like last year when I'm in my studio and I'm like, gosh, I've been drawing hair for so long and I don't understand my obsession. Like I used to draw it attached to women, of course, like holding space for women, honoring women of color and all of our beauty. But all of a sudden I didn't want to draw the people anymore. I just was fixated on the texture, the twist, the how the hair curls, the shape, the way light hits it, just always. And then I had this, and then so much so that my performances all involve these ridiculous wigs, like these
Yeah.
huge wigs, made with hair texture that reflects ours, the women in our community. Um, and then I was like, wait a minute. Now that with all the craziness that's going on, like I don't really want to perform right now in public. I might do like private
Mm.
performance for video. I don't really feel safe right now. But girl, you know how it is.
I
Um,
know.
And so I'm not really trying to put myself out there like that. My goal is to come home to my child and make sure I make it to his college graduation. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to draw unnecessary attention to myself that way. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna work. And so with that in mind, um, I started I started making these weird things.
Yeah.
And it's inspired by I keep thinking about the kind of pressure that we've been watching, the race tensions,
Mhm.
um, and then thinking about mutations, thinking about genetics, um, thinking about the disease, the virus, how some people get it, some people don't, some people have mild, it just and the randomness, right? And just this perfect storm of a raging pandemic, people demanding that their freedoms not be infringed upon while infringing on other people at the same time.
Mhm.
This confluence of like this massive craziness, like all converging. We witnessed it, right? And it exploded with the murder of George Floyd, right? All of this, everything just exploded. And I was like, what happened? Like, I started thinking about the wigs in my work. I'm like, what if they started mutating?
Mm.
Like, what if they don't need me anymore? You know? And I started getting inspired. I started getting inspired by the mistakes I was making in my garden, think and watching growth patterns as things kind of bulged out and grew, as things kind of caved and wilted. What happens when the caterpillars got into it? I didn't know what frass was.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah.
I do, and so I was thinking about the different kinds of textures, like the kind of viscous nature of things when they're rotting, or when animals and critters are eating through things, and so I that's what happened.
Mm.
And this is
Yeah.
one of the many experiments that I've been working on in my studio.
And I think we have, yeah, so Amanda and Lucy got this up so we can see one of the visuals of the work
Mhm,
that you are doing and also to be able to see some of the other work.
mhm.
Yeah, it absolutely looks, I can't wait to see it in person.
I hope so. I mean, I wanted to try to limit and make sure that I was working with materials that I would have normally used to make one of my wigs, at least the earlier wigs. I used my very first wig. It's straight chicken wire, cotton batting on the inside, and basically doing like weaving hair in through the chicken wire.
Right.
Imagine like a large weave, but like huge, right?
Yeah.
And that thing dug into my scalp and it created all kinds of tension. I've learned that there's nicer ways to make wigs. That's not the way to
There
do
is.
it. Um, but I wanted something that was going to be gravity defying, something huge, and that's the structure that I started with. So I said I'm going to be true to that, but also what material is unpredictable?
Right.
Spray foam.
Mm-hmm.
You spray it, you're not sure where it's going to come, where it's going to like how it. So I wanted to see what would happen if I relinquish control.
Yeah.
Right. So I would spray these things in and then just watch it expand and spray something else and just watch it burst through the metal. And like, I didn't want to conceal the foam. I didn't want to make it pretty. I wanted it to feel like things were starting to like just really writhing and like pulling and just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I learned about this other kind of foam that looks really wet and slick, even though it's dry.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to harness all these things, but then they're also encrusted in jewels. So when you get really close, you'll see that they're like, like rhinestones and like pearl thingies. And I'm trying to figure out how to work with fake nails and eyelashes. I don't know if that's gonna work though, but
we'll see. It's all adventure. We want adventure.
Yeah.
Well, so how can people follow your journey? Because I'm sure that anyone's watching, we're seeing that this is an exciting journey that you might want to, get on and see see what's happening. So how do people find you? How do they follow you?
Please follow me on Instagram. I'm dabbling in doing maybe some live things. I don't know yet. I'm the old lady that's still like, wait, how do you do it? How do you do it?
Right.
What's the difference between a story and a reel? Like, I don't understand, but I'm learning. Like everything else, it's going to be a journey. But follow me at Wanda_Raymundi on Instagram. And you can also follow me on Facebook. My handle, I think, is Wepa Woman for my early work. But just, Google me. I'm out there with a little W in the night sky, like the Batman. And you'll find me.
And if you also look into the Reclamation Project, you can see, good, we have your IG handle right here.
Oh, and my website, duh.
Yes, and your website.
Yeah, www.raymundiart.com is the other way to find me.
And then also, if you get a chance, look at what she submitted into Reclamation and listen to her interview there. And then continue to follow her journey. Wanda, it is always exciting to be able to talk with you publicly and also to share all the messages back and forth privately and to build and continue this sisterhood. So I'm so glad to have met you and to know your work and to watch you grow and just us to see each other grow as much as we continue to do. But thank you so much for being a part of this project.
Thank you so much. I want to draw your hair, right? Like I want to look at your hair.
Listen, I have to send you some pictures so you
can. I'm looking at the tech. I'm like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. I want to draw it.
I'll send you some pictures so I can be immortalized in your work.
Yes, darling. Yes. You know what? I don't know where you stand on the whole vaccine thing, but I'm double vax. I'll go to you.
And yay. Okay, so we may have to make that happen. So we will definitely talk about that.
You could put me onto some of your tea game because I know
no.
I don't know jack about tea, so you're gonna have to like.
The apothecary in here.
I know. You gotta show the people sometime. You gotta show them what.
I'm gonna have to show the people sometime and have to really let people know what's happening on the other side of this wonderful paneling. But
that's
a lot.
Beautiful panel, by the way. I've told you before, and I'll say it again. That is bomb right there. So
interior design by Kat. She helped to create some of the Reclamation kitchen and get some things happening. And hopefully this fall we'll be able to show what's happening on the other side here.
I think that people need to see. And you know what? Don't make me break out the paintbrushes. I might need to dabble in the paintbrushes again and paint your face.
Listen, we create. We got time on our hands.
Yes.
So we gonna create some things. And then there'll be also we're gonna open up submissions to the project again, so we can get some more recipes from the audience, from our audience, and from the community. So we're really excited about that. And so if you when we open back up, if you want to submit another recipe. Of course, we'll let you know like what, how that engagement will go and everything. But it has been exciting, and just to continue to see all that will happen. It's funny, I'm listening to you talk and I'm looking at like the sea moss, I'm looking at this reishi mushroom, I'm looking at all these things and how they respond in water and when you're cooking them or whatever. So you'll probably inspire much of the cooking this week
Hey now,
and much of the
oh,
creativity this week.
oh, you know what? The other thing, and I didn't mention
Mm-hmm.
this, like, again, because I was looking at the kind of bulging, and I'll send you some pictures of what, because I don't think people know this, but I draw too. So when I make these objects, they also become still lifes, and I start like isolating
Yes.
certain areas, and I draw them. And I love drawing some weird vegetables, like,
Yes.
but not the whole vegetable, just the growths, the weird bumps, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's just really poetic and beautiful, and there's something to be said about that nature's gonna do what nature's gonna do.
It's gonna do what it's gonna
Mhm.
do when it does it.
Yeah, right. It's gonna do. You can't stop
Mhm.
it. And I think that's, for me, that is what we're witnessing right now. We're witnessing the
Yeah.
death throes of supremacy. Like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna want to die, but it's getting scared. It's getting scared.
Mhm.
Um, and then we're witnessing something is brewing. Something beautiful has to come out of this, because we can't have endured all this pressure and not have something beautiful come out of it.
Well, that's the role of the artist, and the role of the artist in all of us is to get in there, see what we find, and let it out and let it be
Mhm.
shown. I think there's a quote that says, if we could create as twice as much as people are willing to destroy, then I have to find out who said that quote. But there's a quote about that just inspires me to be in this constant state of creativity, and not only having it to tie to whether I'm official artist or not, just create, you know. And then also, even if you are official, be unofficial sometimes and just get in there and,
Just get in
you
there and
know,
do something.
get in there and just do it. So
Yeah,
thank
the working in the garden has provided a real interesting classroom, a class,
Mhm.
and lessons in humility,
Yeah.
lessons in falling back, listening. My failures last year came from not just thinking I could throw shit in the ground.
Right,
You know,
right,
like, I was gonna do
right.
what I
We'd be
said.
like, go ahead and do that. And it's like, no, it requires you.
You
And I
have to
think
listen.
that's
Mhm.
such a important thing, because even in the kitchen, even in the studio, in the garden, like, you are required. Your essence, your input, your work, your toiling, your dreams, your ideas. You can't just throw it in there and just think something will happen. Like, it's like you're required. And I think that's what we're learning, that everyone is essential and that we're all required, to participate in this thing and
Mhm.
create faster than things are being destroyed.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Somebody's
and
gotta
not
be-
needed to be perfect to
Yeah,
release control, to, you know, um, get on Zoom calls or whatever you're gonna get on, StreamYards or whatever, and see your people's faces and find other
mhm.
ways to be together. So we're
Yes.
figuring it out. It's been
Mhm.
an interesting journey, and it's been
Right.
beautiful to watch you explode.
And this whole thing has been happening in a vacuum, but it's
Mhm.
really nice to know that you're paying attention, and that you're sharing in the journey with me. That really isn't a vacuum. You know what I mean? And
No, it's not. Yeah.
thankfully, the ability to connect digitally, virtually,
Mhm.
has made this not so painful. You know.
Yeah. And if anyone's out there, please go to Wanda's website and also to her IG page, because you are always posting some interesting drawings and what's happening in the garden, what's happening in your studio, and sharing, and always an inspiration for that. And I hope other people heard you, that sometimes we feel like we're in a vacuum and we don't always know that people are looking, but we are all witnesses to each other. So
Mhm.
everybody keep creating, because we're looking. Everybody's, we're all, our eyes, we're all trying to find each other. And
Yes,
love always finds itself.
that's
So
right.
yeah. So this is a pleasure. You and I, listen, we could
We
we
could
could go
talk.
on. We could do it. We could do
Yes.
all of it. So but I love you dearly, and it's
Oh,
such a pleasure to build this with you. And
gracias, hermana. Gracias.
thank you. Thank you. And everyone, thank you for coming to our episode of the Curative Collective, and we will see you next Monday at noon.
Bye.
Bye.